YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. A few days away until NFL free agency begins. And I got some more free agency predictions for you guys. We did two videos already. One covering the top tier receivers, already up on the channel. Another one with some random top tier free agents. This video, I kind of grouped together the free agents that I think will get more money than expected, in my opinion, of course, in free agency. And we're going to predict where they will go. So the free agents we'll talk about in this video, we got Karl Lawson, we got Romeo Okwara, William Jackson, Mike Hilton, Jayon Brown, Jonnu Smith, Curtis Samuel, and Dalvin Thomason. We'll talk about those guys, talk about their landing spots, predict where I think they'll actually sign. I think this free agency is going to be full of surprises, pretty unpredictable, so I can't wait for it. We'll have you covered. We're grading every single signing once it all begins, grading all the big trades. So we'll have you covered. NFL draft coverage, of course. So please subscribe to the channel. Must follow that Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter, make one. Breaking news on there. My reaction to the breaking news. Kind of more in depth what everything means as well. Always talking with you guys on there. So add Goat House NFL. Link in the comments. Follow it. WalkTheMock.com. If you're going to sign up for the best draft simulator there is, use code GOATHOUSE. Very important there. Link in the comments for that. Big Karl Lawson, probably the biggest sleeper free agent. I think he's going to get more money, than expected. Some people are talking about, 9 to 10, maybe 11 million range. I think it's going to be more. We'll see. Some guys could get paid less because of the whole COVID situation, but it doesn't really change that teams want players with upside like Karl Lawson. So a lot of teams up on the board here where I think he could land. Honestly, again, it's going to be a pretty random free agency, I think. So there could be a team not up on the board here that has a possibility. But I think he could cost, at 13 to 15 million range per year, really, which is kind of unexpected according to most people. So we look at the teams up on the board, and I'm going to do this much like the other two videos we did. I had a couple of the other guys with me for those ones. I'm here myself with these, but that's all right. We could start removing teams here. Again, all these teams I think are possibilities, but I got to start splitting hairs, getting down to the final team, my final prediction. So it's going to be a lot of fun here. Let's see who we can take off the board. I'm already thinking about it. Yeah, definitely a possible. Well, let's take off the Bills first. They could upgrade at the pass rush position. The reason why I think they're less likely than some of the other teams here is because they kind of already got those developmental or guys that, like Karl Lawson. He doesn't have a bunch of production, but can get that production. I think the Bills are going to go big or go home in that category. They're also spending money on their own guys as of right now before free agency even starts. So maybe a little less likely. And then taking a look at some of these other teams, Chargers possibility. They could use another pass rusher, but where the Chargers at right here. I'm going to take them off. I think they're more likely to spend their money on offensive line, maybe some other spots as well that we could eventually get to. But, Patriots, I'm going to start taking off teams here. Patriots definitely have the cap space, could use another pass rusher. They're always after that unique pass rusher, kind of a half off-the-ball linebacker of pass rusher. So I don't know. And maybe Lawson actually could fit that because when he came into the league, he was – what is he? Is he an off the ball? Is he a passer? So maybe he can fit that. I just don't know if I see it, but they do have the cap space. And then we take a look at, I think it's an incredible fit with the Vikings. And Mike Zimmer, it's a Mike Zimmer type guy. A guy with like the Danielle Hunter, guy with a lot of upside. They definitely want to work with. I think they just probably get outbid. They are clearing some space, but I think they probably get outbid. And they may focus on offensive line first. We'll see. Pass rush is a big need opposite Danielle Hunter, though. Taking a look at these other teams here. We'll take off the Seahawks. They could use another pass rusher, especially because they cut former Bengal Carlos Dunlap, which they may like Karl Lawson better. I think most people do. But they may, they don't have a ton of cap space, can clear some more. They may focus on the offensive line as well, though, and bring in some guys back. But possible. Definitely possible. Man, I like a lot of these teams. We'll take off the Ravens. Could do it. I got some other guys in mind for them. Maybe a little cheaper. I don't know if they spend too much. Yeah, probably around the same range, actually. We'll take them off, though. Take off the Texans. They definitely could use another pass rusher. But, yeah, again, Lawson's, in a way, kind of a developmental guy. Not, guaranteed to be instant ready. That I feel like they have men who might play outside now in this new scheme, so they may have those guys. The Raiders, kind of the same thing. The Raiders I think they go big or go home. They probably don't go home. They want to go big. They want to get a guy that's for sure going to get that production because they got some guys that have upside. But they want the guys that are consistent, get to the quarterback. So I don't know if they'll be interested in Lawson that much, actually. The more I think about it, we got Colts, Bengals, Titans, Jets, Dolphins, Browns here. Man, all these are good. I'm kind of narrowing it down to a couple teams here. Man, I feel like this is the Colts like these guys that have the high upside. Bengals definitely would like them back. Titans looking for pass rushers. The Browns might go a little bigger, and they'll try to go bigger. Guy that's going to for sure get that production there, and maybe the Dolphins are in that same range. I feel like they're definitely gonna spend money on defense. So don't get me wrong here, but I think they're really focused on offense. I think Van Noy is a good player. They know he's a good player. They cut him so they can spend in what is more important to them in this era, and I believe, and that's on the offensive side of the ball. So, they may not go crazy big for defense. We will see. I really like these teams here. Man, I kind of had a team in mind before going into this, because I want to be as accurate as I can be here, even though I think it's going to be unpredictable. But I start to really think about teams and almost change my mind, but I'm not going to do that. I guess it's tough on the spot trying to figure out which team's, more likely than the rest. I'll take off the Jets. I kind of had another pass rusher in mind for them, but they could use multiple pass rushers, and that leaves a big three. I do think the Colts like these guys, but they got to spend at receiver, left tackle, pass rusher, maybe two pass rushers, corner. So they're going to spend big on a somewhere, but then the rest kind of going to be mid-level maybe, and that kind of adds up because they're not a team that's going to drain all of that cap space. They're going to save it for their own guys, of course. So I think they kind of go bigger in a couple other spots, or we'll see. Bengals, Titans, the final two. This whole offseason, I was really feeling the Titans, for Karl Lawson. But, kind of going into this and making my final prediction, I was kind of leaning back to the Bengals. So that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to take the Titans off the board. But I'm going to have to whoop my own ass if it ends up going to the Titans. That's what I was feeling most this offseason. But now I'm feeling the Bengals. The Bengals can't afford to lose him. He was their only good pass rusher, their only, pass rush presence out there. And you may say, well, they got to spend their money on offensive line and maybe getting William Jackson back, and that could be true. But if you don't spend your money on Lawson, it's going to open up a giant hole. It's already a hole there. They need another guy, and that's going to create problems. So I'm pretty much going this route because they absolutely have to, and I think they will. But I would watch out for those other teams as well. But that is my final prediction. Another pass rusher, Romeo Okwara from the Lions. You see some of the similar teams here. And we could start ripping some guys off the board. Let's see. Trying to think where we can start. Where could we? Who's the least likely here? I like a lot of these teams. Again, I guess we could take the Bills off early. They did just spend a lot of money on their own guys. I'm sure they'll create some more space. Let's see. Let's take off. Could he go back to the Giants? Giants are a little thin on cap. They're creating some more. I don't know if this is where they spend it. I could see it, though. I can see it. A lot of these are good fits. I feel like, let's see. I think he can fit either scheme. That's why it's tough. I'll take off the Chargers here. Definitely possible. I think they mainly focus on the offensive line here. I got a couple teams in my mind for the end here. We'll take off the Jets. Again, I have a pass rusher in mind for them. That'll probably be a different video. Dolphins, probably, if they're going to do something like this, it'll probably be a little bigger, going a little bigger. Raiders, same thing. I do like the fit, but they're going to go bigger, go home in that category. A lot of these teams make sense. I don't know. Could go back to the Lions. I just feel like a lot of guys are leaving the Lions, so we'll take the Lions off the board here. Ravens, definitely possible. I kind of had somebody else in mind here, so we'll take the Ravens off. Browns, Titans, Patriots, Seahawks, Colts. Seahawks, I think got to focus on offensive line first. That doesn't mean they can't get pass rushers, but it's going to be a little tougher to win like a bidding war here. We're kind of got some of the similar teams here. Take off the Patriots. They're unpredictable on what type of pass rusher they want to add. I can see the fit. They always go for unique ones. We got Browns, Titans, Colts. We got two teams that we had pretty late in the last one, Titans and Colts. We had the Browns in the last one. The Browns probably go bigger. They probably try to go bigger. I'm actually going to go, the team that I kind of felt most this offseason for Karl Lawson, which I changed my mind on. I'm going to go Titans and Romeo Okwara. Romeo Okwara coming from that Patricia defense. The only guy that had success in that Patricia defense, which is a Patriot-style defense, that Belichick-grown defense. Patricia back with the Patriots. They can definitely bring Romeo Okwara to New England for sure. I just think they got these kind of guys here. So the Patriots, maybe I should have left the Patriots around a little longer, but Vrabel running that similar defense and looking for guys that get a little more production. But yeah, the more I talk about it, the more I realize that the Patriots, Patriots could be, because Patricia is there. It's a possibility. I think. They got Chase Winovich. The opposite side is they might not even go for one yet, but the opposite side of Chase Winovich, which is a pure pass rusher, is kind of like that hybrid, guy, which they got Uche. They may add Van Noy back, so that's why I don't think the Patriots, but interesting because Patricia's there. But yeah, Titans run that similar defense, so they could, and they're looking for a pass rusher, so Okwara would make sense. But it's up in the air there. Big time cornerback. I think this guy's William Jackson get paid way more than people expect. There could be a big time bidding war for him. He's still got upside. Remember, he missed the whole first year of his career because of an injury. And that's one less year playing, which I think he still has upside almost because of that. And he showed that he can improve. He's a pretty good young corner here. So, and teams will be willing. I think he's going to get paid a lot more than people think. At least $13 million per year, maybe at least 12.5. A lot of teams interested. I definitely have some teams in mind here to last to the end. The toughest part of this video, which I didn't really plan going into it, is the order I take them off, because I want to be the order that who offers the most bid, the most money, which we really don't know. We never really know that information. But who maybe? Oh man, this is already tough to where to start. I was gonna say who. Wouldn't be. We'll take. We're gonna take the Cowboys off. They could use a corner like this, and it's probably crazy to take them off first, but there's a reason behind that. They didn't want to break the bank with Byron Jones, so why would they want to break the bank? And you're probably gonna need to. Maybe not Byron Jones money, but it wouldn't really make sense. Maybe they changed their philosophy on that because what happened last year. But I just don't see them being a team that wins a bidding war for a cornerback, the ultimate bidding war cornerback in this free agency. I just don't. It wouldn't make sense. Jerry's not going to change his philosophy. So, yeah, I like taking him off the board. It would be great if they sign him. We'll see. A lot of these teams could use them. I think the Titans probably spend bigger elsewhere. They just did cut Malcolm Butler, but they probably spend bigger elsewhere. We'll see. I don't think the Bills can win a bidding war. Again, they're spending on their own guys right now. So a lot of these teams are good here. A lot of these teams are really good for them. Browns could use a corner. They got some young guys, though. They may add a veteran because they got Denzel Ward's locked in as a starter. Greedy Williams. They got some young developmental guys. They may spend their money elsewhere, pass rush, linebacker. So we'll take them off the board. I don't think Washington wins a bidding war for them. Take Washington off. They could use a corner to make they might have elite defense anyways. It's that good, but they could use a corner to kind of solidify that. But that's if you have that good of a defensive front pass rush, you don't need to spend big at corner. You don't need to. It's not that smart, honestly. They'll focus on quarterback, receiver, maybe another offensive lineman. Yeah, so we'll take what? That wouldn't make much sense. They'd be damn good with them. They're going to be damn good without them. You don't need to spend big at cornerback position. A lot of these teams are really good here for them. 49ers, they need cornerback so bad, but they're going to spend on Trent Williams. They're not going to be able to win a bidding war for this. Maybe they'll bring back, like Kelly Witherspoon. I'd like that. The smaller number guys there. I'll take off the Colts. It really depends on what type of scheme they're going to run defensively this year. Last year they ran a lot of cover 2, which you typically can't continue to run a scheme like that because quarterbacks start to figure it out. But in that scheme, you don't value cornerback that much. Cornerbacks just cover the flat. You shouldn't be paying a corner a lot of money just to cover the flat. So somewhat similar scheme. There'll be some cover 2 in there, I'm sure. Maybe not as much, but it just doesn't make sense to pay cornerback big money in that scheme. It just doesn't. The Raiders ran a lot of cover 2, and that failed them, but they're going to go away from that. So, but I do, I think the Raiders are more likely to add a veteran, kind of in the Browns boat. They got some young guys that can get better already, but maybe get a veteran guy. Some good teams here. We'll take off the Panthers. They got some young guys as well, but it would fit. It would kind of fit in there with them. Dante Jackson, William Jackson could be a pretty good pairing. Sort of talk myself into keeping them, but I kind of already have my mind up where I'm going to end anyways. Man, the Vikings don't have a lot of money invested in the cornerback position because they got rid of guys and they have young guys, and they really value that position though. So I think that they will put in a bid for a guy like this. I think this is a guy they would really like. I just don't think they win a bidding war, so we'll take them off. Jags got a lot of money to spend. But I think it's complete. Another guard. Maybe a receiver, interior defensive line, safety, could be corner. I got other guys in mind for the Jacksonville Jaguars, so we'll take them off. Does he go back to the Bengals? Hometown Houston Texans, starting to feel that's a possibility. The Cardinals have to go big at the outside cornerback position. They've cleared some space. The Broncos, it would be grade A, idea. Broncos get a guy like this, and they don't have to focus on corner with that draft pick, because I'm not a big fan of taking a corner in the top 10. So that would be great too. The Broncos are, what do they do with A.J. Johnson? What do they do with some of these other guys they have free agents? What's their Von Miller situation? I do think things need to happen. I would really like it for the Broncos though. But yeah, it's a top tier landing spot. Again, the Jets, a good landing spot, good fit in that system. I made up my mind beforehand. These were the final 3 teams: Bengals, Texans, Cardinals. Could he return to the Bengals? Houston, hometown. Cardinals have to go big. In free agency for a cornerback. Honestly, I've been switching my pick. I've been switching my pick on out of these 3 on where he could go. The problem with the Bengals, they want him back, but the problem with the Bengals, they spent so much money on Trey Waynes last year. They also have to focus on offensive line and maybe Karl Lawson. Do they break the bank with both of their corners? Do they think that's going to help them get anywhere while spending less at other positions? So that would be my argument against the Bengals, and that is actually why I'll take them off. But definitely a good shot. He goes back. I think it's Cardinals versus Texans. Oof, this is tough. I keep changing my mind on these picks. I just think it's going to be unpredictable this year, and because who's going to take the 1-year deal to bank on themselves for next year when the cap goes up, and who's going to want that long-term security? It's impossible to figure that out. So that's why it's going to be a fun offs. It's going to be a fun free agency here. Texans, Cardinals for William Jackson. Let's send him home to Houston. Let's do it. I was kind of feeling the Cardinals going into this, to be honest, so I changed my mind a little bit. But I thought the Texans at one point. Texans need a corner, I think, pretty bad. They've cleared some cap space. They're signing some random guys here, but it's small amount of money. So I think Lovie Smith's defense, I think they'll value a guy like William Jackson. Definitely an interesting one. Another corner, this is a slot corner, Mike Hilton, maybe the best slot corner in football, one of them. You think slot corner, not going to get paid that much money, but again, he might be the best one in football. You can argue a couple other guys as well. That's not the purpose of this, but yeah. A lot of good teams here that could use a slot corner, could go back to the Steelers. Right off the bat, we'll take off the Titans right away. Right now, they need one, but they may be more likely to save a little money and get back a guy like Desmond King, who's a free agent. I think it's more likely. Lions just feel like I can't figure the Lions out. Like, one second they're like, okay, they're definitely in a full-blown rebuild mode, but then they're clearing space, restructuring, voiding contracts, which feels like a win-now move. So I can't figure them out. I'm going to take them off because I can't figure them out, but, I think they're more likely to go for the younger crowd, the youngest of the free agency class. Texans actually just signed their slot cornerback in Vernon Hargraves, so that was a little bit ago, actually. So we'll take the Texans. We'll take the Texans off. A lot of good teams here. Packers I would like the Packers for them. The Packers got to clear more space, though. Got more work to do here. Yeah. Other teams more likely. These are good teams. These are good teams here. Take off the Seahawks. I would love the fit on that defense. Just more likely to spend elsewhere, I think. Got to start to split hairs here. I got the final teams in my mind here. Cowboys definitely can use a slot corner. They can benefit from this. I just like some other teams. It's a good one. I just like some other teams better. Raiders, I think, will spend bigger in other positions, so we'll take them off. So that leaves me with my final three: Steelers, Jags, and Browns. So you can see the Jags a little better. Steelers might get it's so important to the Steelers defense, though. He's one of the best slot corners in football, very good in coverage, and he blitzes a ton. That's a factor. So they like him. I just think they're focused on the offensive line and getting a running game going. I think somebody outbids him. It's a good shot. He goes back. We got Browns and Jags. Yeah, the Browns looking to upgrade their slot cornerback position for sure to pair with Denzel Ward and maybe Greedy Williams. They have money. It's a possibility. The Jags looking for cornerbacks. Deciding factor here, the Jags, they brought in new coaching staff. They're going to run a Ravens type defensive scheme. A lot of blitzing involved in that. Mike Hilton, the best blitzing slot corner in football. Let's bring him to Jacksonville. They have the money. That makes sense to me. We'll see if it happens. There's logic behind it, but it's going to be random once free agency hits. Jayon Brown, Matt Milano got re-signed. That kind of leaves Jayon Brown towards the top here. I think he's a lot of upside. I think he fits either scheme, very rangy. I think he can blitz if you need him to as well. Not super high-end blitzer, but he's shown that in the past here. So some teams I think he can fit. There's a couple teams I think he would fit fantastically, and I think they could use him. And they are clearing space, but will they clear enough to be able to win a bid for a guy like this? I don't think so. So we'll take off the. That's me. We took me off. We'll take the Saints off, and we'll take the Eagles off because I just don't know if they win a bidding war for a guy like this. And then we move on. There's three teams. Okay, we'll take the Packers off as well. Same reason. I would love them for the Packers. But just I don't think they're going to win a bidding war. Same thing with the Giants. Would be great next to Blake Martinez, but don't have as much space as some of these other teams. Yeah, I like these teams a lot. Dolphins, I think, go a little bigger on offense, but they will go big on defense somewhere. It's just tough to figure out where. Bengals, Titans, Browns. Yeah, I know my final three here. So Washington may focus on offense a little more. I do like the fit, and they have cap space. The Rams would really benefit from a guy like this. But, yeah, I've already taken off those other cap space trouble teams. So the Rams fit in there with them. I just really like the fit for the Rams. It's just, it's unlikely because of that. And the Lions definitely need. He's a young guy, could be part of the rebuild. They need linebackers. I think I just like the other teams better. That's just the only reasoning there. Bengals, Titans, Browns. I think it's probably bound. This is tough. But next, I'll just go ahead and I'm going to take the Titans off. I think they view him and Rashaan Evans as basically the same linebacker. And they're going to try to upgrade somebody to play, with one of those guys. They don't want to, it's not that they don't want to play both. I just don't know if they'll value it that much. They probably like Jayon Brown better than Rashaan Evans right now, but they're still growing Rashaan Evans. So I think he's going to the Browns or the Bengals here. I think it's the Browns or the Bengals. Bengals got more cap space. The Bengals also need to focus on offensive line and maybe both their own guys. So I guess that's the way we'll split hairs. So I guess because they have to focus on so much other things. We're going to say the Browns do got to focus on that pass rush, though. But I'm going to go Browns. I'm going to go Browns. Bengals, high shot for that as well. I really think it's going to be one of those teams. But I'm going to go Browns here for Jayon Brown. Another Tennessee Titan, Jonnu Smith. See, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith are the big tight ends in free agency. Hunter Henry probably the bigger one. But I think more teams will view Jonnu Smith as a fit. And he's that mismatch guy with a lot of upside everyone's looking for. He's an absolute weapon. You can even use him in the backfield. So I think a lot of teams will be after him. We'll take a look here. Right off the bat, we know he fits Arthur Smith's scheme, who is now the coach of the Falcons. They're just in a troubled cap space situation. They're clearing, though. They're clearing. They're on their way. I just don't know if they spend big at tight end when they already have Hayden Hurst on top of it, you know. Chargers are probably more likely to get Hunter Henry back, and if not, they go smaller. You know, if they go just slightly under Hunter Henry, which is Jonnu Smith, it just wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. It's either, you know, go big or go home. They may be interested in small level guys. 49ers just signed Emmanuel Mosley. We were just talking about the 49ers maybe bringing back, you know, who were we talking about with that with? William Jackson. They'd probably be bringing back some of the other guys for a little cheaper. So that's interesting. Let's see. Some good ones here. It's so tough with some of these teams. Actually, I want to keep some of those teams up there. Would like them with Seattle. I just don't think they spend here. They already have Will Dissly. They could use another guy like Jonnu Smith, and they would benefit from it. I just don't know if they value paying a second tight end that much over getting your first, you know, guard or center. You know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. In a past video, I predicted the Jags to actually get Hunter Henry. So I'll take the Jags out. But if they don't get Hunter Henry, they end up being one of the finalists for Jonnu Smith, of course. So keep that in mind. Texans, they're going to, you know, it's going to be a Ravens-type offense, so they're going to value having several tight ends out there, multiple tight ends, so they're going to be going in for one of these guys. I just don't know if they win the war for a guy like this. You know, he may rather return to the Titans for cheaper than go to the Texans, perhaps. It's a possibility. The tough thing with, I think the Patriots already have these athletic-type tight ends. I think they're kind of looking for maybe a Hunter Henry. They're going to be a finalist for him. The tough thing is the Panthers and the Cardinals. These are two teams that don't value using a tight end. They don't use it much. Now, you kind of get this feeling that they might start to value that, but that's just kind of a shot in the dark. So, I really, that's tough because I can see it, but it just, more needs to happen. So I'm going to take both those teams off, Panthers and Cardinals. But if they're like, hey, we're going to value the tight end, they're finalists. I'm kind of leaning a little more Cardinals maybe, but things need to happen there. The Jets, they're kind of coming from that Shanahan tree, running that offense. They're going to value these tight ends. They're going to value them. The Bills would really benefit from adding a guy like Jonnu Smith. Titans could definitely want to keep him. This is tough. Bengals could use that weapon. This is tough. Kind of had a team in my mind, but some things that happened today changed that. Probably can guess what I was thinking. The Jets got so many holes. You know, they're more like, it's tough to figure out where they'll spend big. They could spend big in a couple spots. Take the Jets off. These are good three. I'm going to take the Bengals off. I just like the other two. I've been kind of feeling the Bills. The Bills have spent some money here, though, and that results in the cap kind of going, this is tough. It's one of these two teams. I'm really feeling them. It just depends on because I think the Bills will really be after them. I'm sticking with my gut. I'm gonna say Bills, but I almost want to turn to the Titans there. It's a tough one. We're gonna see. I think the Bills guys are taking pay cuts, so they might have just enough money. You know, they get a guy like this. They could use another guard, maybe. You know, I feel like this is a good fit. It's going to be a target for them to pair with Dawson Knox, but Titans have cleared a lot of space. I just think they need to, I think they should have franchise tagged him. You know, I think you end up getting more than that maybe. We'll see. Curtis Samuel is next. We did a video with quite a few top-tier receivers. Curtis Samuel, could have been in that list. He ended up not being. We did some other guys. We'll do Curtis Samuel right now. So a lot of pretty good fits here. I kind of already know where I think he's going. Right off the bat, Bears are in a tough cap space situation, and if they trade Allen Robinson, then they could target a guy like Curtis Samuel. Just things need to happen here. So we'll take the Bears off. I think a team like was going to go there. Cardinals might go big or go home. I mean, he'll fit at a fantastic level there, but might go big or go home there. Yeah, the Jags are like the same thing. They kind of got these guys, they may go big or go home. They're kind of okay with their unit. But if you can add a star guy, then that kind of could work. Raiders probably may rather just get a guy like Nelson Aguilar back, possibly instead. So we'll take the Raiders off. I really like. I mean, the Colts are probably another team. Maybe they go a little bigger. I don't know. I really like the fit with the Dolphins with Tua. That'd be fantastic. Another team, though. They could go Curtis Samuel and a guy like Jamar Chase, so that could stop them from going bigger. It's not like they're going to get Kenny Galladay and Jamar Chase. I mean, who knows? But I got other plans for the Dolphins, I guess, so we'll take that. We'll take them off. These are all good. Patriots, another team that might try to go for the home run. So we'll take the Patriots off. Texans, I can see them replacing Will Fuller with a guy like Curtis Samuel. I still feel they're going to make a run. Not that we already did our Will Fuller predictions. We did those already, but they may make a run for him. Get him back. I mean, I don't think the Ravens are going to go big. I think they're going to get a guy like this, perhaps. But at the same time, and then they kind of got it. Like Hollywood Brown, Curtis Samuel, pretty similar. I like Samuel a little better. So we'll take him off. We'll take him off. Great John Brown replacement, but I got other plans for the Bills. But this could be it. If I didn't have him getting Jonnu Smith, their replacement for John Brown could be an actual receiver here. We'll take him off though. Jets probably looking to go a little bigger with their cap space. I hear the Giants could go for Kenny Galladay. Don't know if they can make it happen. Could end up. Yeah, they could end up getting a guy like Curtis Samuel there. Lions may just stick to this. This is tough. I know I'm picking. I'm just trying to figure out the order I take them off. We'll take the Lions off. We'll take the Giants off as well. Packers still got some cap to clear. They may go Will Fuller. This might be the next step down in Curtis Samuel, but they got work to do still. It's tough to pick teams when they still have work to do. I know they'll get some of the work done. We can't guarantee how much they get done. Panthers versus Washington. Washington would like to pair him with Terry McLaurin. What it comes down to, Curtis Samuel had years where he was underwhelming. He struggled. He had one really good year. That was last year. That was with the Carolina Panthers. That was with first-year head coaches who love him in the system. So it just all points to, and the Panthers cleared cap space. It all just points towards like he's got to go back. Like they got to get him back. If anyone's going to like him the most, spend the most, it's be that coaching staff that coached him for a year where he thrived. So that just makes the most sense to me. So the whole way I was kind of picking the Panthers there. One more from this video, Dalvin Thomason, a true nose tackle that is going to come in there and stop the run at a pretty high level. Not a whole bunch of pass rush presence, so people may look at that, be like, yeah, he's going to be cheap because, he doesn't get, I think he's got upside of getting pressure, but there was a big problem in stopping the run in the NFL last year. Teams are kind of going back. Let's run the ball and open up the pass. So it's very important. I think he has upside as well. So I think he's going to get paid more than people think. This one's going to be really tough to narrow it down because, all right, let's start with the Cowboys. They definitely need interior guys, but I think they like Neville Gallimore, which he can move around. Is he a true nose tackle? I don't think he's a true nose tackle, but he's going to play there. So that would be a reason I take him off. The Lions didn't cut Danny Shelton yet. I really like the Dalvin Thomason to the Lions, so we can open that back up. We'll take the Browns off. They have Andrew Billings. Dalvin Thomason's a big upgrade, but they have the true nose tackle. They signed last year. He opted out. They didn't get to try him out yet, so it's a possibility there. I don't think he's going back to the Giants. They did a really good job of getting kind of replacements. Dexter Lawrence could play nose. He's been playing D tackle, but he can play nose at a very high level. They also have B.J. Hill. Of course, Leonard Williams is the defensive end. They're good at loading up on those guys, finding the talent. They're not going to spend big here. So I take them off. These are some good teams here. Really good fits. Cardinals need interior defense linemen badly. I just don't think that's where they spend. I think they kind of spend with more explosive playmaker guys, and that's where they spend. So we'll take them off. Jags, Texans, Raiders, Patriots, Dolphins, they all make sense. Texans could not stop the run last year. They just couldn't do it. Lovie Smith's all about stopping the run first. I did have him getting William Jackson. That's what's tough, because if I'm wrong about William Jackson, which I very well could be, I think he's going to be unpredictable. And they could be in a market for, very well be in a market for a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson. The Patriots don't typically spend big on nose tackles. So they value them, but they don't spend really big. So here's the teams we got left. Raiders definitely need an upgrade at nose tackle, help stopping the run. The Dolphins defense was good, but it wasn't too good stopping the run. They want to upgrade there at the actual nose tackle position. Jaguars need defensive linemen. They have cap space. Again, the Texans will really value that. It makes a lot of sense in that Lovie Smith defense, but I had them getting William Jackson. Now, if they don't get William Jackson, then I may pick them for Dalvin Tomlinson. I think William Jackson could be priority 1 or much higher than Dalvin Tomlinson, though. And they have, they can get both. They can get both. It's just maybe not likely because they're both expensive. The way they talk, I kind of get the feeling that the Raiders are looking for more guys that can get interior pressure. They do need an actual nose tackle, so we'll take the Raiders off. Decent shot there. Dolphins, Jags. Dolphins definitely could use that nose tackle to help stop the run. Christian Wilkins does move around a bit. I think the defense is going to be good no matter what. So they're not going to. It's not going to make it an elite defense. Maybe if they get just a nose tackle that stops the run, it definitely could help. But my point is, I don't know if they're dying to spend big there. So I think I had the Jags getting Mike Hilton and Dalvin Thomason. They have a lot of money. They need nose tackle. They need defense tackle. They need defensive end, and what's going to be their new 3-4 defense. They have edge rushers for the future, which are outside linebackers in that scheme. It's something they just got to do. It's something that they, they don't have to, specifically this, but I definitely think they'll be in the market for this. They want to be able to stop the run. It's that Ravens type defense they're going to run. Their job is to stop the run first. They're going to be looking for a guy like this, and they'll like him. I like that fit. I like the fit. But that's going to do it for some more free agency predictions on guys that I think will get paid more than you think. They're sleepers, I guess, big-time sleepers. We'll do more of these. I guess it's kind of random how I'm grouping these together. But we got 3 videos already out with predictions. It's going to be a wild free agency. We have you covered on here and on our Twitter. Make sure you follow that, subscribe, smash the like button. But that is going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Appreciate you. Goodbye.